Hi guys, my name is Yash. I'm a SBA certified business analyst, and today we'll be continuing with our 54th question of our BA interview series. So let's begin. What if our interviewer asks, what techniques do you use for requirement elicitation? I'll answer, I mainly use techniques like stakeholder interviews, workshops, observation, and process analysis. I kept it short and sweet, you see. So I mainly use techniques like stakeholder interviews, workshops, observation, and process analysis. In my CraftCart project, I used process mapping and stakeholder discussions to understand issues in payment processing, inventory management, and seller confirmation workflows. I believe using multiple elicitation techniques help gather more accurate and complete requirements. So, yeah. So how you see it's very crisp and very small, very I believe the answer should not be more complex. It should be very easy to understand. So I used a very short answer for this interview. Okay. So actually, what else? Because if an interviewer asks, he has less time, right? So you don't give a whole paragraph of an answer, right? So, what techniques do you use for requirement elicitation? I just told stakeholder interviews, workshops, observation, process analysis, and I gave the example of my CraftCart project where I used process mapping and stakeholder discussion to understand issues in payment processing, inventory management, and seller confirmation workflows. So, I believe using multiple elicitation technique. Elicitation basically means requirements gathering. Okay. Uh, so requirement elicitation is a gathering. Elicitation means gathering. So multiple elicitation gathering techniques help gather more accurate and complete requirements. But for your understanding, I'll explain a bit more in detail because I want you to understand it better. I want you to understand each question better. That's my real motto of these videos, not just to make videos. I want to teach people. So that's the thing. So as a BA, I use different elicitation techniques depending on the project type, stakeholder availability, and business complexity. The goal is to gather accurate, complete, and clear requirements. Common requirement elicitation techniques I use are stakeholder interviews. Okay, so I conduct one-on-one discussions with stakeholders to understand business needs, pain points, expectations, and project goals. This helps gather detailed insights directly from business user. Then I use workshops to encourage collaboration, discuss requirements gathering, okay, discuss requirements together, resolve conflicts, and align stakeholders quickly. Workshops are very useful for complex projects involving multiple teams. Sometimes I observe user performing their daily tasks too using the observation technique to understand actual workflows, identify inefficiencies, and uncover hidden requirements. This is especially useful when users struggle to explain process verbally. Then I go to process analysis. I analyze the as-is flow workflows, business processes, system interaction, and pain points using tools like BPMN, flowcharts, and process maps. This helps identify gaps and improvement opportunities. Then I go for brainstorming sessions. So why I go for brainstorming sessions is to generate ideas, identify solutions, and explore different business scenarios collaboratively. Moving on to document analysis, I review existing BRDs, SOPs, reports, system manuals, and policies to better understand current business environment. Then I go for surveys and questionnaires. For large groups of stakeholders, I sometimes use surveys to collect feedbacks, preferences, or business inputs efficiently. Again, I'll give my CraftCart example. In my CraftCart project, I use stakeholder interviews, process mapping, workshops, and stakeholder discussions to understand issues related to payment processing, inventory management, seller confirmation, and order workflows. This helped identify gaps like payment retry failures, delayed order confirmation, and inventory mismatches. Why multiple techniques matter? I believe Using multiple elicitation techniques helps gather more complete requirements, reduce assumptions, improve stakeholder alignment, and ensure better solutions quality. Different stakeholders communicate differently, so combining techniques improves requirements accuracy. Requirement elicitation is about gathering the right information, using the right technique to clearly understand business needs and define effective solutions. So, yeah, I hope you learned something from all the explanation. Thanks so much for watching.